A2B came about as a result of a project that Atlantic Philanthropies, a big New York-based foundation, set up. They set up a feasibility study into looking at the extent to which older people in Northern Ireland didn't claim their benefit entitlements. And during that feasibility study, it transpired that at least £52 million of pension credit alone, which is the major benefit that goes unclaimed in Northern Ireland if you're over 60, at least £52 million were simply not being claimed. So they set about setting up the project A2B, Access to Benefits, to focus directly on improving benefit uptake for older people.
I work with a wide range of older people in the Erin East Fermanagh area, and through the different projects that I would be involved with, I'm able to ask them if they would like a benefit check done. Sometimes they're not aware of the different range of benefits that are out there or how to go about getting a benefit check, and this might be for various reasons. Maybe they don't want to lift the telephone to talk to someone, maybe they find the whole process of working with application forms very daunting or complex, or maybe they just don't want to let people know their personal affairs.
No, I don't think they are aware of their entitlements because through the benefit checks that I've already done, they've very little knowledge of what they're entitled to.
I think there's a real culture of people saying, oh well, I'll get by, I'll just make do, and people don't really, older people especially, don't really see that they're entitled to benefits, so they just don't apply, and forms are so tricky, and you know, they find it difficult to ask somebody for help, so they definitely don't know what they're entitled to, very seldom.
We find the majority of our clients anyway have no idea about the entitlements that they are entitled to, and only through the calls that we've managed to pick up on that and refer them to the agencies that would be appropriate for that.
I don't think so. I mean, it's so many benefits out there. It's just a minefield to even anybody, my age. But for older people, it's obviously very confusing. It's good that there's this facility to be able to check that they're actually getting everything they should be.
The reason people don't claim their benefit, really, it splits into three main areas. The first area is that they're simply not aware, or they're not aware in some cases that benefits like pension credit actually exist. And where they are aware, very often they're not aware or incentivised to find out how they apply to them. And that kind of leads into the second big reason, which is kind of attitude and stigma, particularly older people who've retained a lot of the old work ethic ideas. And you very often find people who say, look, I've never taken a penny off the government, I'm not going to start now. They confuse the idea of benefits for handouts or charity, when in fact they're earned entitlements. They've been paying their stamp all their years, or they've been bringing up the children at home who are now economically active and contributing to the economy. So it's really about trying to convince people to get back to them what's due. The third real reason is complexity. I mean, the application forms that some people are familiar with, they're vast, and not only if you're just applying for one benefit, if you're eligible for more than one benefit, and then there are permutations as to how one eligibility impacts on another. The system's extremely complex, not just for the individual end punter, but actually the people even administering those benefits. So it's quite difficult for them. So those are the three main areas: awareness, stigma, and complexity, and those are the three barriers that we're trying to knock down.
More than £50 million, Tom, and some of it might be ours. What do you think of that?
Aye, Kathleen, that would just about cover the cost of your hairdressers in a year.
You're quick enough picking up your winnings at the bookies, Tom. How come you didn't know we might be entitled to extra money?
Well, if there's more than 50 million going unclaimed, and it's not just me that's been missing a trick there.
One of the major advantages I see of access to benefits system, whereby a person can sit at a computer which doesn't judge you in any way, shape or form, and it's between you and the computer. In fact, the programme will prompt people to realise just areas of their finances that they hadn't probably even thought of reviewing.
I know I've worked with groups where I've worked with a couple of people in the group and they're able to access it, and then they relay and cascade that information down through the group. It's confidential, and that's really important. Even groups that are wary of going and talking about financial matters, they still sort of, if you push that bit to them, that confidentiality bit, they're really quite into it then, because they know that never asked you for their name, and they know that it's secure and it's confidential.
The website's very easy to access, so it is, and it's very easy to use, and also because it's a confidential tool, I find that the older people are more willing to try it because it's confidential, and they're very reluctant to let anybody know what their income is. So it's getting their trust first to enable them to use it. But it's very, very good tool.
It means you're able to access, especially for user groups like us, we're able to access that without having to send them Social Security. We can find out with them, then refer them on to the agencies, rather than them having to go back and forward.
The website itself has many advantages. One of those advantages is that when you go online, it's free, it's confidential, and you can remain anonymous the whole way throughout it. The website itself is very simple, it's very user-friendly, and then it'll deliver a report at the end, which is very straightforward for anybody. Then it'll let them know what benefits they're actually entitled to and how to go about claiming those benefits.
Answering the questions on the benefit calculator thing looks simple enough.
Hi Kathleen, what's your date of birth?
52 years married, and you still can't remember my birthday. That A2B website was so easy to use, Tom. But what about the folks around here with no computers?
Well, Mrs. Rafferty got her grandson to do hers.
Right enough. And I suppose the ladies at the bowling club could use the computers at the library.
I would definitely encourage groups, as many groups as possible, to do the training and to promote it among their groups, because it's so easy to use, and obviously we want as many people as possible to receive the benefits they should be receiving.
I would definitely tell them to go ahead and take up the training, especially if they're working with older people. To be able to advise them in the correct way, they would need to have access to the tools, and this is a good benefit tool.
I would encourage all groups to use the A2B service, because the calculator tool is very good, so it is. It's letting people know what they're entitled to, and it's also, there's training available for groups out there, and there's a backup support from the A2B staff as well.
Get involved with the A2B, especially now at this stage of life where the rise of cost of living is very, very high. It's more and more important that older people have the right benefit entitlement checks done. Community and voluntary groups are in the prime position for that. I know I have found it rewarding, and every little bit will help to ease the financial burden that older people face in today's society.
Everything we do is really aimed at streamlining the journey for an older person from lack of awareness about what they're due, to finding out what they're due, to applying for it, and to getting the money into their bank account. And the single biggest element in that is our partnership network. There are over 1,000 organisations that we know of in Northern Ireland in the age sector, organisations ranging from reminiscence groups to senior citizens forums, luncheon clubs, church groups, and these people have access to their older client base. But then there's also a cohort of folk who are more isolated and who we call the very hardest to reach. Those are people who are maybe housebound or don't get out a lot and aren't the usual suspects, if you like, that are particularly active socially. And what we do there, again, deploying the partnership network, we try and recruit volunteers through that partnership network to go out and do face-to-face visits, and thereby provide benefit calculations and entitlement calculations to those people as well. That's a very important part of the work.
You've been on that computer for half an hour now, Tom. It's my turn. I promised the girls I'd book the tickets to see Cliff Richard in London.
Nearly done, Kathleen. I'm just emailing Junior about the A2B website so he can score some brownie points with his mother-in-law.
Make sure you tell him how much we got. And to think we would never have found out about it without a2b.org.uk.
They're great support, they're always there for you, so even if you come against any problems when you're using the calculator or you want any advice, it's only a matter of ringing the A2B team and they're there to assist you.
It's very easy and very self-explanatory. You know, once you get into it, everything's there for you.
You've nothing to lose, it's free.
Access to benefits to me is a wonderful scheme. Now what we've got to do is educate people to start using this computer, to access the information that's out there.
The reason people in Northern Ireland should really be looking into what their benefit entitlement is and making sure that they're claiming it all is not only for themselves as individuals, but you need to bear in mind that these benefits are not Northern Ireland block grant monies. So it's money lost to the economy. So every penny that goes unclaimed in Northern Ireland just sits in Her Majesty's Treasury in London. And really what we want to get across is the fact that it's important from a citizenship point of view to be making sure that you're claiming all of your benefits, not only for you individually, but for the benefit of the economy as a whole.